Hello YouTube, Jonathan here, and I have a special video for you today. In fact, if you are a subscriber to the Big E and his Axis and Allies channel, you may have an idea of what I'm going to be talking about. But for those of you who don't, let me give you some context. So a little while ago, I put up a video where I was scoring all of the different versions of Axis and Allies, from the ones that I don't think are as good to the best in the series. Now, Big E happened to watch that video, and he noticed that there is one Axis and Allies game that is missing from my collection, and that is Axis and Allies Guadalcanal that I have before me. And I'll explain that here in just a second. So, Big E looked at his collection, and he saw that he had not one but two copies of Guadalcanal. One that wasn't entirely complete, but still he had two copies. Now, I had been on the lookout on eBay for some time. That's for a copy of Guadalcanal. That's actually how I got a copy of Battle of the Bulge. I have an incomplete copy. The box is beat up a little bit. It's not too bad, but it does show some wear. And because it was incomplete, I was able to get it at a reasonable price. That game normally goes for a crazy amount of well over $100 on eBay when it is complete. Guadalcanal is very similar. So I was extremely surprised when Big E reached out to me and said, "Hey, I noticed that you're missing this version, and I happen to have an extra copy. Would you like me to send it over to you?" And he was just going to give it to me for free. I was completely taken aback, completely surprised, and amazed by his graciousness. And while I readily took him up on that offer, I felt very bad about just accepting a copy of the game, because he was ready to just send it to me, no questions asked, nothing asked for in return. And I know how pricey this game is and how difficult it is to find. It's really rare. And so I was grateful, but I would have felt it would have been very difficult. I didn't feel good about accepting a gift like that, even from a fellow Axis and Allies YouTuber, and giving nothing in return. So he and I discussed it a little bit, and we decided that instead of me sending him something back, we would do a pay it forward. And so he sent me Guadalcanal, and actually, there's a little another item that I want to mention about that. He did tell me that this copy was missing a few pieces, and so he even went above and beyond just sending me what he had. He actually reached out to his fellow Axis and Allies players over at axisandallies.org, and a fellow fan of the series who goes by SS on that board, axisandallies.org, on their forum, happened to have some of the pieces that Big E was missing. And so SS was able to provide those, and so now this is a more complete version. There might be a little bit missing, but it is much more complete than it originally was when Big E and I were first talking about it. So that is kind of how I came in possession of it. So this game completes my collection. So that's really, really cool. Thank you, Big E. Thank you, SS, for making this possible. I really, really, really appreciate it. So we said this was going to be a pay it forward. I'm not sending anything back to the Big E. So what does that mean exactly? Instead of sending something back to him, much like he had an extra copy of Guadalcanal, I actually have an extra copy of another version of Axis and Allies, one that I post a lot of videos on. We'll get it here. This is a packaged version. You can kind of see a little bit of the glare there if the light shines off of it the right way, of Axis and Allies 1914. I just happen to have an extra copy of this. I was fortunate enough to acquire a second copy at the Origins Game Fair of 2017. I had a copy already, and I won another one. And so I happen to have an extra one, just like Big E had an extra copy of Guadalcanal. So I'm going to be forwarding this over to Sired Blood. He's going to use it as a prize for his tournament, or if he wants to use it for something else, that's totally fine. But our Big E and I were thinking that it would make a nice prize for his upcoming tournament. I know he has spent a lot of his time and attention and a ton of his own money focused on that, focused on making it the best experience possible. And while I won't be attending, it is quite a trip for me. I live in Illinois. Sired Blood, I believe, is way out in California. If I can give him a hand when he's poured so much into that event, then I am happy to do so. One thing that I do want to mention, it is sealed in the plastic. Let's see if we can get a good, yeah, you can kind of see it over here. Seal all the way around. There is one small rip. I think, yeah, it's in this corner. Must have been like during transport or just shuffling it around. That corner right there, the plastic is ripped, but then you can see that it is solid over here again. So aside from that little spot, it is in its original wrapping there. So in the next couple of days, I'm going to go ahead and get this in the mail and get it over to Sired Blood. So that is my pay it forward, but what I also would like to do for this video, I'm going to do kind of an unboxing. I don't usually do unboxings. We'll see how well it works with one hand holding the camera, and the other hand trying to open these boxes. Let's see here. Bear with me just a second. Here we go. All right, there we got the corner up. All right, and Big E, he did a fantastic job of packing the box, and I see that he has also thoroughly packed the interior of the Guadalcanal box as well as the exterior. I'm not going to show the video of the exterior, but if you can imagine this kind of thorough job packing on the outside of this game box as well, that is more or less how he did it. So thank you for making sure that this got to me in good shape. We've got another layer here. All right, so now we've got some pieces. This is I think this is the dice. Yeah, I'm gonna have to read up on how this works exactly. I do remember that from what I'd read before that there is a unique way to determine what is damaged. So we've got, whoops. We shake the box and then we get different, we can see what we roll. I'm not sure yet exactly how that works, but I know that has to do with assigning casualties. Let's see what else. We have our bag of Japanese pieces here and a command decision token. I'm looking forward to finding out what that means, how that comes into play. Let's see, what do we have here? We've got some other tokens here. What is that? Supplies, damage, just different indicators it looks like over there. I'll put that off to the side. We have our various chips. We of course have America's units, the United States. Put those off to the side. Okay, so that's everything that was wrapped up in that bubble wrap. We have, let's see, we have some little boards here. Looks like there are a couple of them. Since this isn't on, and then a little note from Big E giving me some additional information about the pieces that are included. We'll put that to the side for now. a lot of these pieces, I'm not exactly sure what they do, but it is a true unboxing. I have not really looked at the rules, at least not from here. I've kind of glanced at them online. So we've got the sequence of play, just, you know, your combat, your different options. You can account for that for Japan, and then we've got one for the United States. We've got the rule book, which I will be going through here to learn what all of these things are in detail and understand them. And now, for the finale, let's take a look at this map. This was made, I think, in, what, 2007? So it is a little, it was right around anniversary, I think. I think those were within about a year or so of each other. So a lot of games have come out since. A lot of games came out before this one as well. It's kind of in the middle of the pack. So we have a very unique map here. The territories are very large. From what I understand, a lot of gameplay is focused on taking these islands, and there's special rules around that. Don't know exactly what they are yet, but I know that this is very unique. And so to go with the unique rules, we have a unique map, which is cool. Let's see, what's this down here? Let's see. Just a little. Oh, I don't know why that my phone is having such a difficult time focusing there. I think that, well, I don't want to speculate on what that is. I was thinking maybe this was just like an indicator, like how much things cost, but as I look closer, I don't think that's the case. Let's see, but there's stuff that looks like it's American over here, and then it looks like we've got some Japanese stuff over here. Maybe that's starting locations. We'll see. So here is the map for Axis and Allies Guadalcanal, going over the Solomon Islands. That is the story of how I acquired it, and I'm very grateful for that. Once again, thank you Big E, thank you SS. And here in the next couple of days, I will get my copy of Axis and Allies 1914 shipped over to Sired Blood, so someone participating in his tournament can enjoy that. Or again, if he has other ideas, maybe a better idea than that for it, then of course he is welcome to use it in the best way that he sees fit. So I hope that whatever happens, someone gets great enjoyment out of 1914. I know that I will enjoy this copy of Guadalcanal quite thoroughly. So thank you everyone, and thank you Big E, thank you SS. Sired, you've got something coming in your direction, and thank you all of my subscribers and everyone watching my videos. I really appreciate it. This is a great community that we have developed. I'm grateful to be a very small portion of it, but you guys are awesome. So have a good night, everybody.